There are some franchises that always feel like they're about one step away from a true comeback. Not because they failed, but only because you can see the potential just sitting right there, waiting to be pushed further. We think that is where Tom Clancy's The Division stands right now. For many years, players have been asking the same question. When is The Division coming back in a big way again? See, the first Division dropped us into a frozen New York City that felt hauntingly almost real. Snow covered the streets, loot was scarce, every corner felt dangerous. It wasn't just about shooting enemies, it was about surviving in a city that had collapsed. The atmosphere carried the game. Even people who criticized its early endgame problems admitted one thing, that the world design was just incredible. Then came, of course, Tom Clancy's Division 2, which moved the action to Washington, D.C. It refined the systems, combat felt tighter, missions were smarter, endgame was stronger and launch, but something about it felt a little less mysterious, less lonely. The snow was gone, the sense of collapse felt different. It was technically better, but some players missed that old, cold, desperate tone of the original. Now with Ubisoft officially confirming that The Division 3 is in development under Ubisoft Massive, the excitement is real again. It's not just rumor anymore, it's happening. The only question is what direction it will take. And this is where things really get interesting. The world has changed since 2016. When the first Division released, its pandemic storyline felt like distance fiction. After real-world events in recent years, the themes of collapse, quarantine zones, and broken supply chains feel heavier, more grounded. And Division 3 sort of has a chance to lean into that realism in a smarter way. Not to shock, not to exploit, but to tell a more mature story about rebuilding, control, and power. Because at its core, The Division has never just been about shooting looters. It's about what happens when order falls apart and who gets to rebuild it. One of the biggest hopes for The Division 3 is location. New York and Washington, D.C. were strong choices, of course, but players are now ready for something fresh. There are rumors and theories about cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, even somewhere outside the United States. And we think a new environment could change a lot of things. Like imagine a city with heavy rain instead of snow, or one filled with underground subway systems like Metro that just stretch for miles, or maybe even a dense urban center mixed with nearby countryside. This setting will shape the tone, and tone is almost everything for this series. Another major focus is to be evolution, not just repetition. The Division 2 improved systems, but it didn't completely reinvent them. For the Division 3 to feel truly next generation, it sort of needs a deeper world system, smarter AI, more dynamic events, factions that fight each other without the player always being the center of attention. Like imagine walking in a street where the enemy groups are already battling, you choose whether to step in or let them weaken each other. Imagine supply routes that actually matter. If you cut off resources, enemy presence in certain districts become weaker over time. The world shouldn't just reset after missions, it should feel alive and reactive. Not to mention, loot is another area where the Division 3 must be careful. The series is known for its gear grind. For some players, that's sort of the addiction. For others, it became exhausting. The next game could respect time a little more. Fewer meaningful drops, more meaningful gear, weapons that feel unique instead of just slightly better numbers. Build diversity should matter without turning into just frustrating math. Combat will likely stay cover-based because that's part of just Division's identity. But maybe it needs more impact. Better animations, more destruction, more movement options. Imagine sliding between covers smoothly, vaulting obstacles faster using gadgets in more creative ways. Drones, turrets, shields, they really could all use an upgrade. And then there's of course the co-op. Division has always been strongest when played with friends, entering a contaminated zone together, planning builds, covering each other during intense fights. The Division 3 should lean even more into that identity. Maybe deeper team-based perks, maybe synergy bonuses when certain builds are combined. It should reward coordination without punishing solo players. Not to mention the Dark Zone could also, need attention. In the first game it was tense and unpredictable, in the second it felt smaller and something less exciting. The Division 3, again, has the chance to reimagine it completely. Maybe one large evolving Dark Zone that just changes weekly. Maybe weather conditions that affect visibility. Maybe Roman high-level threats that force temporary alliances between all the rival players. But beyond mechanics, story, of course, will matter probably more than ever. Division 2 ended with strong hints that the larger conspiracy behind the virus and the power struggle within the government was just far from over. The next chapter could dig deeper into rogue agents, hidden leaders, the idea that maybe the Division itself is not as clean as it seems. What if the people meant to restore order start becoming the new threat? The moral gray area is basically where the Division shines. You're not a superhero, you're not an agent following orders in a broken system. The third game could push that much further. Harder choices, missions, where saving one group means abandoning another, leaders who question your loyalty, teammates who might not agree with your decisions. Ubisoft Massive has learned a lot over the years. They have simply handled large open-world games. They've dealt with live service pressure. They've built expansions like Warlords in New York that brought back some of the original magic. If they apply those lessons carefully, the Division 3 could simply avoid past mistakes. And there's also the tech side. New hardware means better lighting, better destruction, more detailed environments, and Divisions always looked impressive. Imagine that level of immersion and detail with full next-gen power. The reflections in rain-soaked streets, dynamic weather that changes firefights, buildings that don't just look damaged but fall apart during battles. However, once again, the biggest thing Division 3 needs is identity. It can't just feel like the Division 2.5. It has to bring back that feeling of stepping into a world that feels lost, dangerous, uncertain. The first game captured that magic through atmosphere. Snow falling in silence, abandoned Christmas decorations glowing in empty streets, radio chatter that made you feel small in a giant crisis. Division 3 needs its own version of that feeling. Maybe it's a city drowning in floodwaters. Maybe it's a heat wave crisis. Maybe it's something we haven't imagined yet. Whatever it is, it needs personality. There is pressure, of course. Ubisoft as a company has faced ups and downs. Players are more critical than ever. Live service fatigue is real. But that pressure can also push studios to focus, to simplify, to deliver something clean and confident instead of overloaded with systems. If the Division 3 keeps its focus on atmosphere, smart combat, meaningful progression, and a strong story as well, it could become the comeback moment fans have been waiting for. Not just another sequel, but a true revolution. Because at the end of the day, the Division has always been about stepping into chaos and trying to bring order. It's about teamwork in a world that doesn't trust anyone. It's about walking through empty streets, knowing the danger is always one corner away. And if Ubisoft Massive really gets it right, the Division 3 won't just be another entry in the series, it'll certainly feel like coming home to a city that never fully healed. And this time, maybe we finished the job.